Dive. We unpack sources to get you well informed, fast.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're diving into a genre that's usually all about chilling out farm simulation games. Specifically, we're looking at Everdream Valley, which, definitely aims for that cozy charm.
Right, and its upcoming sequel, Everdream Village.
Exactly. But here's the twist. While these games promise relaxation, the actual player feedback, and, get this, even a scientific study on game reviews, well, they reveal some pretty surprising, maybe even stressful stuff.
Yeah, it's a fascinating mix. You've given us a great stack today, game announcements, loads of player reviews, and like we said, an academic paper looking at what makes a review actually helpful.
So our mission
is basically to connect the dots. Why did a game like Everdream Valley click with some but really frustrate others? And what does this all tell us about, the power of those online reviews we all scroll through?
Okay, let's start with the original game, Everdream Valley. Seems like a good place to begin this. Well, potentially cozy journey.
Sounds good.
So it came out from Moon Eaters, a Polish developer, and Untold Tales Publishing. Rolled out across platforms throughout 2023, PC and PlayStation first in May.
Then Switch in June and Xbox later in December, wasn't it?
That's right, and the promise was this delightful farming adventure.
The premise itself is super charming. You play as a kid, right? Saving the grandparents' farm.
Yeah, bring it back to glory.
Yeah.
And they really leaned into the animal care aspect, like training your dog. You could choose from 13 breeds.
13 breeds, wow.
Yeah, to herd sheep or find treasure. Even train the grumpy farm cat to help out somehow.
That's pretty unique. But the really standout thing, I think, was the night mechanic.
Oh, right. Tell us about that.
Well, every night, your character dreams and actually transforms into one of the farm animals.
Transforms, like you play as the animal.
Exactly. You play these little mini games, maybe as a dog scaring off wolves, and what you do in the dream can actually affect your farm the next day.
Okay, that does sound cool. A blend of farming and like animal fantasy.
It definitely seemed fresh and whimsical. Initial reviews reflected that, calling it pleasant enough, or even a perfect cute tonic.
A perfect cute tonic, I like that. So the initial vibe was positive, charming.
Pretty much.
But, and there's always a but, isn't there?
Usually is.
Things got interesting. Despite that charming setup, Everdream Valley ended up with pretty mixed reviews. Especially, it seems, on the Nintendo Switch.
Right, and that's the key question. What happened? What turned cozy into, well, frustrating for so many players?
What did the feedback say?
Well, a huge part was technical difficulties, particularly on the Switch. Performance was a big issue.
How so?
Players reported lots of popping textures and stutters, both in handheld and docked mode.
Oof, that doesn't sound very relaxing.
Not at all. Some even said it caused motion sickness.
Motion sickness, wow.
Yeah, and part of the theory is the game tried to do too much at once visually without proper loading screens. It only loaded at the very start and when you went to bed.
So the rest of the time, it's just constantly rendering everything. Animals, wind, animation.
Everything all at once, yeah. Which likely contributed heavily to those performance drops.
Okay, so performance was shaky. What else? Were there other bugs?
Oh, yeah. Players mentioned a weird bug where you'd be running and suddenly forced into a slow walk. Super annoying, apparently.
I could imagine.
Quest lists getting stuck, quests taking ages to update, just general jankiness. And it wasn't just bugs, some core mechanics felt off too.
Like the mini games. I read something about those.
Exactly. The cooking one, for instance, had a supposedly very tiny target area. People called them janky and sometimes just too hard. Not exactly the chill vibe they signed up for.
So the technical side was rough, and even some gameplay felt frustrating. What about the core farming loop, the animal care?
That's where it gets really interesting because animal care was a selling point, remember?
Right, the dog training, the cat.
But many found it surprisingly difficult, even stressful. Baby animals needed constant attention or they'd just run away. And the wolves. They were a major nuisance, stealing animals, breaking fences. Players on Reddit were calling it stressful.
Stressful farming. Kind of defeats the purpose of the genre, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. One person lost 3 animals to wolves. Another admitted to re-rolling dreams. Restarting the game right before bed to try and get a different dream, specifically to avoid a bad wolf encounter.
You're kidding. Restarting the game to avoid wolves in your cozy farm sim.
Yep, that tells you something. And then there was the inventory system.
The classic inventory debate. Too complex.
Too much stuff. Players listed like 10 essential tools: hoe, sword, axe, hammer, watering can, net, whistle, cat toy, shovel, basket.
Wow, okay.
All taking up, quote, massive space.
So it really sounds like that cozy promise got buried under bugs, performance issues, stressful mechanics, and just hassle.
Pretty much. The overall feeling from a lot of feedback was that the game felt rushed or incomplete, maybe half-baked.
Lacking things people expect in these games.
Exactly. No romance options, no real town to visit, no quest board. Some found the map too big and empty. Others felt they burned through the content in just 20 hours or so.
Okay, so Everdream Valley's journey, from that charming idea to these player frustrations, it really makes you think about reviews, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
When you see such different experiences, you have to wonder what actually makes an online review helpful. Which brings us to our academic source.
Right, this paper, a study of evaluating of game review data using multiple regression. Quite a title.
Yeah. Sounds dense, but the core idea is super relevant. What did they investigate?
They looked at game reviews, specifically on Steam, and tried to figure out what factors influence whether people rate a review as helpful.
Okay.
They grouped these factors into 3 main categories. First, stuff about the reviewer themselves.
Like their experience, maybe?
Yeah, things like that. Second, characteristics of the review itself, how it's written, its length, maybe.
Makes sense.
And third, the overall tone, whether it was really positive or really negative. They called that sentiment polarity.
Okay, so reviewer, review, and sentiment. What did they find? Did it matter?
Well, interestingly, yes. All 7 specific variables they tested did significantly influence perceived helpfulness. Things like number of reviews written by the person, a number of helpful votes they already had.
And the sentiment, positive versus negative.
That too. All of it played a role.
But was there anything that stood out, like what mattered most?
No, that's the really fascinating part. The biggest influence wasn't actually the review's content or even its positivity or negativity.
No. What was it then?
It was the reviewer's characteristics, specifically their number of friends on the platform and the number of items they owned in the game.
Wait, really? So reviews from people who seemed more socially connected or more invested in the game were seen as more helpful?
That's what the data suggested, yes. And conversely, that sentiment polarity, how positive or negative the review was, actually had the smallest influence of all the factors they measured.
That kind of flips the script, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You'd think a really passionate, positive or negative review would be super impactful.
You would think. But this study suggests maybe we subconsciously trust reviewers who seem more established or more deeply engaged with the platform and the game itself, more than just the emotional tone of their words.
Huh. That's really something to chew on. Did the study mention any limitations?
Oh, definitely. It's clear it only looked at PC games on Steam. So these findings might not perfectly translate to consoles or mobile or VR games.
Right, different platforms, maybe different review cultures.
Exactly. And they also mentioned the need to consider reviewer demographics and how individual gamers might just interpret reviews differently based on their own preferences. It's complex.
Still, a very interesting perspective, especially thinking back to all that varied Everdream Valley feedback. Okay, so bearing all that in mind, the rocky road of Everdream Valley and these insights about reviews, let's look ahead to Everdream Village.
The sequel, announced by the same core team, Moon Eaters and Untold Tales, plus VR Civ Game Studios this time.
And they're explicitly saying they want to build on the original, right?
Yeah.
Promising new mechanics, a larger world, deeper systems.
Yeah, seems like they're aiming for something more engaging, more replayable, trying to address some of those earlier criticisms, perhaps.
So what new features have they actually announced for Everdream Village?
Quite a few exciting ones, actually. A vast open-world map is planned with enchanted islands to explore.
Okay, bigger world, check.
Crucially, they talk about building a living, breathing village. You'll befriend NPCs, and yes, pursue romance this time.
Addressing that missing feature from the first game? Good.
Definitely. They're also calling it an animal paradise. You can interact with animals, breed unique variations, and the transformation mechanic is back.
Oh, nice. Becoming the animals again.
Yep, but framed now as experiencing their perspectives and maybe causing a little mischief. Sounds fun.
Mischief is good.
Yeah.
What else? Anything beyond the farming and animals?
Yeah, they're promising extensive terraforming, letting you really shape the landscape.
Ooh, players usually love that.
For sure. Plus a general sandbox of adventures, mentioning cooking, fishing, creature collecting, unique quests. Sounds like a lot more to do.
And visually, are they sticking with the same style?
It looks like a step up. Vibrant 3D graphics. They seem to be positioning it to stand out from, say, the 2D pixel art style of games like Stardew Valley, which obviously dominates the genre.
Right, a different visual identity. So when can we expect it?
It's slated for Steam Early Access sometime in 2025.
Early access, okay.
Yeah, with a full release planned eventually for PC, PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox, hitting all the major platforms again.
So, connecting this back, it really will be fascinating to see if they nail it this time. Can they fix those stressful parts of Everdream Valley?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can they deliver that deeper engagement they're promising and make the whole experience feel more cohesive and, well, cozy?
And maybe that review study gives us a clue for how to judge it when it comes out.
Could be. You know, for you listening, whenever Dream Village arrives and you're looking at reviews, maybe pay attention to who is writing them.
Like, look for those highly engaged players. The ones with lots of friends, lots of items.
Maybe. According to that study, their take might be a more reliable indicator of whether the game truly delivers this time around. It's just a thought.
Well, we've certainly covered a lot today. From the ups and downs of Everdream Valley to the potential of Everdream Village.
And weaving in those interesting findings about what makes an online review actually helpful.
It definitely gives you a new lens to look through.
And it raises a question for you, doesn't it? The next time you're browsing reviews for a new game, especially maybe a cozy one.
Will you look past just the star rating or the emotional language?
Exactly. Will you maybe check out the reviewer's profile, see how engaged they seem? Could that change how you weigh their opinion?
Something to consider. We hope this deep dive has given you a shortcut to being well-informed, maybe some surprising facts, and definitely food for thought next time you're scrolling through Steam or the eShop.